Hello, this is Unlimited Splash, where we get better at Magic together through a new draft every day, and today I'm jumping into my second last draft of one of my favorite draft sets of all time, Bloomburrow. That's right, it is going to be leaving Flashback Draft tomorrow. Tonight, I'm going to do a live stream where I will draft some more Bloomburrow, and then tomorrow I'll be back with one more Bloomburrow draft as my daily draft video, but after that, it's on to MTG Foundations. However, with a very important caveat, there is a Bloomburrow Arena Direct on the weekend. I believe it is for Japanese play booster packs of Bloomburrow, which for me is a huge draw, definitely something I'm going to be competing for. So if you're also going to be playing in that Arena Direct, or pretty much if you ever play in Arena Directs, do go ahead and subscribe to my channel and follow along with my daily draft videos. I try to always be positive. I am trying to build a community of limited improvers who get better at Magic every single day. And especially before Arena Directs, I do data deep dives where I break down what is good in the sealed format and what colors you should play, what cards are better in sealed than they are in draft, what cards are worse in sealed than they are in draft. Really all the top line things that you need to know to have as good a chance as possible of winning a box on Arena Direct weekend. And then of course, when there is an Arena Direct, I do tons of runs. And I post the good, the bad, and the ugly all right here on my channel for you to see what works and what definitely does not work. So if you do want to get better at Limited right along with me, go ahead and join our community of limited improvers by clicking subscribe using the link in the description below. All right, let's play our second last game of Bloomburrow, our second last draft of Bloomburrow. Here, Mabel Heir to Cragflame is a totally solid mice build around, and you know what? I've had quite a journey with Bloomburrow. In this flashback season, did 3 drafts where I played Sultai, Value, Total Sweetness. Then I did 1 draft where I forced Frogs because I just love playing Frogs. And I went Trophy, 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 and then 2-3 because when you force, it doesn't really work. What I have not done is red or white based beatdown. And I actually quite like red and white based beatdown in this set. So I would totally like to play this if it is an open lane. No more forcing, but if it's an open lane, I'm definitely going to do it. So I will take this Mabel Heir to Cragflame as a pure speculation. If this were day 2 of the Arena Open with $2,000 on the line, would I pack one, pick one this card? I might play it safer with Feather of Flight, Splash Lasher, Carrot Cake, one of these solid cards, maybe take out the trash. Probably I would just take Feather of Flight actually, but maybe this actually is a good enough card. Mabel might actually be a good enough card that you just want to speculate on it and just see if Mice is open. If Mice is open, I'm very happy to be taking this card. Here we have a Parting Gust, which I actually think is a good card. So Parting Gust, gift a tap fish, exile target non-token creature. If the gift wasn't promised, you bring it back with a +1/+1 counter on it. So you can flicker a card and put a counter on it, or alternatively, you can remove a card entirely. I remember this card went on like a bit of a data journey where it started off horrible, then it got better. I have no idea where it ultimately settled. I actually just kind of want to speculate on it, partly because, you know, with Mabel, it's not that bad, right? Oh no, you can't flicker this to make another equipment because the equipment is legendary, right? I remember that now. However, there are other things with good enters effects that I can think of. And also, if you're in the Mice deck, then targeting your own stuff is something that gives you advantage. Rabbit Response, I remember, was, you know, if you have, it's a classic overrun. If you have the setup, it's awesome. If you don't have the setup, it's terrible. Hoarder's Overflow is a very difficult build around that was very, very hard to get online. Maybe I'm supposed to just take the Intrepid Rabbit here, a really good little rabbit synergy card, but I think let's try Parting Gust and see how it is. So here we have a Birds card. We have a Birds card, and Birds is not really where you want to be. Festival of Embers, I don't think is really anything. I'm the kind of a person who would want to try to build around that and see if it works, but I don't think it's really something you can build around in this format. So I would say probably, in my opinion, the best card in this pack. By the way, Wear Down is really good in best of 3, but not in best of 1 online. I also wonder. Patchwork Banner. I mean, hey, it could be good in Mice, right? It could be good in Mice, just an Anthem, just a glorious Anthem, basically. But maybe Baker's Bane Duo is the best card. And there's also something to be said for just taking the Nettle Guard and just saying, you know, maybe I'm in Mice. What if I just take the Patchwork Banner because I took a very committal first pick? Maybe I take a card that helps with your mana and can go in basically any deck as my next pick 3 to kind of compensate for that. Here, I think Fell is just really good. The thing is, look, there's not spot removal is not that great in this set. Spot removal is not that great. However, I think Fell rises to the level where it is. I think Fell is just good enough. I do also like the Quake Tusk Boar. 5 mana is a lot to ask in this format, but I had a sealed deck in the Arena Open that got me to day 2, partly on the back of this Quake Tusk Boar, just being a total behemoth whenever it comes down. However, I do honestly think that Fell is just a much better card in terms of playability in the format. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Fell. We are definitely all over the place here, but hey, that's kind of a nice place to be pack 1 when you don't really know what's open. Here, I do actually rather like the Persistent Marsh Stalker. Night Fisher turns out to just be really slow. Basically, every card in this pack is too slow. Like, Mabel's Metal 2 is not... It's a combat trick that's really hard to get a 2-for-1 out of, and 2 mana is a lot to ask in the set for a combat trick. Conduct Electricity, 5 mana, destroy target creature is not good. This thing does things incrementally starting on turn 6, basically, which is, again, way too late in this format. I think I'm just going to take the highest power creature that comes earliest, partly because I just saw Fell, and that's the only signal that I have so far in this whole draft. I think I will just take the card that is in the color that I have a signal about, and lo and behold, this is one of the best commons in the entire format, Saver. Definitely a power outlier in this pack. I will say I also do like Longstock Brawl. However, Saver is definitely the better card in terms of raw power, and it really is just one of the top commons in the whole format, if not, frankly, the top common. I do also really like Calamitous Tide, but when you're talking about Saver versus Calamitous Tide, in my opinion, it's basically no contest, and bam, look at that. Another signal that Black is wide open. Black is being definitely underdrafted at this table, so I'm going to be the person to benefit from that. I will say I do like Spellgyre. I actually think this card, 4 mana cards that don't affect the board in Bloomburrow is a lot to ask, but I think this card does what it needs to do. Same with Dire Downdraft. Blacksmith's Talent is a bit of a build around. If you have Mabel goes great with Blacksmith's Talent. You make this +1/+1 Vigilance, Trample, and Haste equipment, and then this says all of your equipped creatures have double strike and haste during your turn. Pretty good. And Pawn Prophet does suggest Pawn Prophet plus Dire Downdraft, which is a perfectly fine tempo or removal spell, does suggest that Frogs specifically is open, but dang, I am totally going to be all over the black cards here. I think I'll take the Ravine Raider, might as well. It's very possible that I do end up in Lizards, to be honest. Treetop Sentries is not very good. 3-Tree Mascot is not very good. Clifftop Lookout is much worse than it looks. I initially thought that this was an awesome card, but 1-2 for 3, just a tough stat line in Bloomburrow. And there's also a Steam Path Charger. It might be better than the Ravine Raider. I'm actually not sure. I think Ravine Raider is probably better. If you're playing a highly aggressive Lizard deck, you just want to come down on turn 1, and that card does that for you. Here, I'm super happy to take out the trash. 3 damage for 2 mana is just good in this format. Reptilian Recruiter, I think, is a little bit too little for what you're paying. You don't really get your money's worth here. 4-2 is a really tough stat line. This can easily get blocked by like a Baker's Bane duo. You spent 5 mana, your opponent spent 2 mana, and they got a food out of the deal. So I'd rather take out the trash. Rate really, really, really matters in this format. Now, this is really interesting. This is a mouse build around, and I did not get the impression that mice is open, but maybe someone is just in rabbits or something, and white is getting cut for that reason, but mice specifically is open at the table. That's possible. As I said, Hoarder's Overflow, not really a card that you can build around. It does seem like maybe I'm supposed to be in either lizards or rats, right? Because there was a Persistent Marsh Stalker here. But I think I'll take the Frilled Berserker over the Mind Spiral or the Bellowing Crier, simply because I've done so much dirtling. You all have been very kind and put up with all of my enormous dirtling in this format. I think it's time for me to just get aggro and beat down. And Junkblade Bruiser is a perfectly respectable card to do that with. So no complaints at all about that. But I really do want to do something different. If Rakdos Aggro is open, I'm in a mood for Rakdos Aggro. So I don't know how good this is. When you expend 4, you may discard your hand if you do draw 2. Hey, no, I don't hate that. Let's just go super aggressive and play that card. Yeah, why the heck not? I mean, I do think Brazen Collector is perfectly fine. It's like a perfectly fine card. Highly aggressive, 2/1 first strike for 2. The thing is, sometimes this just keeps getting through. Sometimes this card can do like 8 damage, because that's how long it takes for your opponent to play something that has more than 2 toughness. That actually absolutely happens to me. That's why I love 3-Tree Rootweaver specifically as mana fixing, because it blocks this kind of a card so well. But here, yeah, I'm going to try the Byway Barterer. I have no idea how good this card usually is, but I feel like basically you play this card and then you just put in enough 4 and 5 drops into your deck that you can often make like your Frilled Spark Shooter a draw 2 kind of a card, like its whole ability and then also draw 2. Okay, so Definitely black continues to be open. I think Hazel's Nocturne is actually not bad at all. Return 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand and drain them for 2. It just gives you value and then also staples some drain onto it. So I think that is a perfectly good card. The other card that I'm strongly considering though here and that I think I'll actually go with is Rabid Gnaw. This card's really good. +1/+0 and bite. A creature you control gets +1/+0 and bites. It's just faster. And if I'm trying to be an absolute mega beatdown deck, I'm happy to just play the faster card. And I also like the fact that my removal package is so good, although we do need to pay attention to our creature count. I also want to shout out Scales of Shale. It's very possible I'm going to wheel like a Steam Path Charger. That would be my dream out of this pack. If I can get Steam Path Charger or maybe Roughshod Duo back, I'm going to be really happy with that. But now we need to basically only take 2 drops and creatures, right? So Valley Rotcaller, when it attacks, each opponent loses X and you gain X, where X is the number of squirrels, bats, lizards, or rats you control. Basically, the thing about this card is it has to be in a mega aggressive deck, but it's statted very weirdly for an aggro deck, right? Because 1/3 for 2 is a very defensive stat line. So this card is very much at odds with itself. What am I supposed to make of a card that has a highly aggressive ability in a highly aggressive archetype with a highly defensive stat line, right? So that's what makes it not that great. However, I think I'm just going to take it. Like, I think it's just worth taking. It can just push a lot of damage, and it's nice with whatever Rabid Gnaw and stuff. And the other option is Whisker Quill Scribe, the most unsayable card ever. And I think I'm on the Valley Rotcaller as a higher ceiling card, maybe a slightly lower floor, but a higher ceiling. Here, I'm all over Downwind Ambusher. Absolutely love this card. I do think that people are undervaluing this card. You can probably increase your win rate in Bloomburrow right now by picking Downwind Ambusher higher. This card is just so good. It's just so often a 2-for-1, and the 2 is very impactful. The fact that it gives you a 4/2 actually is very impactful. It can also often pick off a way bigger creature. Now, am I sad to be passing a saver? Yes, but look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 excellent removal spells. I think it's time for me to be taking good creatures, and also the Downwind Ambusher is basically a removal spell. Here, I think I probably take Bone Cache Overseer. If I can incidentally get some forage, then I'm happy to be playing this card. I don't know how much forage I can get, but one interesting thing is there are some other ways of removing cards from your graveyard. I will say it might be Glide Dive Duo. This might honestly be the pick, especially with my Byway Barterer, but I kind of like the idea of just having as many 1-drops as possible in my maximally aggressive deck. And I'm just going to guess, I'm not certain, but I'm just going to guess that the other card is more replaceable. Here, this makes me think maybe I am actually supposed to be in rats. If you look at Calamitous Tide, Mind Spiral, this is even literally a rat, although it's basically unplayable. Maybe Gossip's Talent would be played in rats. You could actually imagine that rats is the open lane, but I think I'm just locked into lizards at this point pretty much. I think I'll take the Hidden Grotto. I would have to change a lot about my deck, like drop 6 cards and just pivot hard in order to be playing Calamitous Tide, and that would be much more of a controlling lane to go in. So I think I'll take the Hidden Grotto. The thing about aggro decks, I'm no aggro expert, but one thing that I've thought about a lot recently with aggro decks is they do need card selection. You really benefit from having just a few extra Servile, a few extra Scry in your aggro decks, and my goodness, having a Saver pick 7 is ridiculous. You should be prioritizing this card higher. This is a totally respectable pack 1 pick 1. This is, I think, the best common in the format. I've thought about it since the last time that I saw this a few minutes ago. Honestly, I think this is the best common in the format, so I think you should be taking this higher. Now, what am I supposed to do? I'm getting Tidecaller Mentor pick 8. Okay, if you insist. I mean, I've passed so many good green cards, so many good blue cards, I mean, but Tidecaller Mentor pick 8, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't really want Whisker Quill Scribe or Roughshod Duo that much, so okay, maybe I'm actually, I don't know, this is kind of a mess. Maybe I'm actually supposed to be in blue. What if I take 3-Tree Mascot? I really don't want to be splashing in my aggro deck, but it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather have the 2-drop compared to taking Alania's Pathfinder, which I don't even think is very good. Do I just take Daring Wave Rider? You guys, this is how I end up in ridiculous control decks. It's just so much better than Steam Path Charger. Wow, I just cannot draft a control deck. I just cannot draft an aggro deck for the life of me, huh? I mean, no, I'll take the Whisker Kill. I'm gonna fight to be an aggro. I'm going to fight to be an aggro. Let's take Rockface Village. I'm gonna put up a good fight to be an aggro. I almost got tempted. You saw it. I almost got tempted to just pivot and be a control deck because of the amount of removal that I have and how open it obviously is. But no, that is not what we're doing today. We are drafting aggro. Aggro, you must believe it. It won't happen if you don't believe it. Okay, so here I'm going to take Iridescent Vinelasher. This is a good card. It's just it's a good card. It's a really good one drop. It is a super aggressive card. I think I said in an earlier video, the thing about this card is like you do need to be in a highly aggressive deck. You don't want to be in a control deck and draw this on turn 18, right? This is a card, well, maybe you can break a board state, a board stall in that situation, but really you want to be just pressing as much damage as possible when you play this. Note that there is a 4th saver. I do think that savers have diminishing returns because if you have 2 savers in your hand and you're staring down a 3/3, then you're going to be a little bit sad. Okay, we do have the black-red signpost up against Hazel's Nocturne here. And for me, you know, I mean, like the whole point of being in a color pair is getting to play the signpost, right? I mean, that's not literally true, but the fact that I'm in a color pair and it has a good signpost and I get that is just it is a reason to take it. Also, it affects the board. You know, it's a creature that affects the board. It also gets you card advantage. So anything that affects the board is better than anything that doesn't affect the board in Bloomburrow. Here, I think Blooming Blast is probably not as good when I already have triple saver and take out the trash. I don't want this creature. This is one of the best uncommons in the whole format. Green black is great, partially or in large part because of Vinereap Mentor. Now, I could always take Agate Assault as another removal spell, but look, my removal suite is so incredibly stacked. So I think this is a very bad pack, a little bit disappointing. I would love to have another of my signposts uncommon instead of this one, but I will just take the 2-drop. I want as many 2-drops as possible in my aggro deck, and I think that this one it's just above the level of where it needs to be for you to play it. Here, wow, I'm so sad to see Shoreline Looter. Maybe I was supposed to go blue-black. This is just such a great card. Yeah, I'm sure I was supposed to be blue-black control, but I did get past Fireglass Mentor, so I really shouldn't cry too much about it. I'll take this Glide Dive Duo and be happy with it. I'm just gonna be, this is just a great card to find here. Another Persistent Marshstalker, one thing that we do need to consider is our Persistent Marshstalker has no way of getting out of the graveyard, so it's just a 3/1 for 1, or 3/1 for 2, which is probably not actually that bad. But here I'm very happy to take a Hired Claw. This card was all over standard for a while, just a pretty grotesque card actually. When you attack with one or more lizards, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. I only have 6 lizards though, so I'm actually probably not on Patchwork Banner. Maybe now I have 7 lizards. Probably not actually going to be playing the Patchwork Banner. It's also a little bit slow. I'm definitely not splashing. But here, I think I can take Heartfire Hero. The only card that activates it is Rabid Gnaw. But perhaps I'll find, I don't know, maybe I'll find another Rabid Gnaw or something. I'm not really wanting to play, dang, I wish I was playing Thunder Trap Trainer. Oh well, no sense crying over all that. War Squeak is not really playable. Might of the Meek would be an interesting one, but here I'll just take a Whisker Quill Scribe. I really don't need Early Winter when I have a million better removal spells. I'll just take this, probably not going to play the Junk guy. Okay, another Heartfire Hero. Maybe I would rather just have Sazakap's Brew because it's something that can target. No, I'm going to take a Glide Dive Duo. The thing is, I don't really have any ways of targeting this as far as I can see right now. Target creature with Roughshod. Yeah, I think I'll just take the Glide Dive Duo. I don't really have any ways of turning that guy on. Same with Whisker Quill Scribe, unfortunately. But this is definitely better than a 3-tree mascot. So, okay, Sazakap's Brew. I actually probably will play that as a way of activating my Heartfire Hero. Not entirely sure what I'm going to cut. Wow, nobody was in Squirrels. Okay, well, I'll just let someone have that. I'll make someone stay by letting them have that. Raccoon Rallier, maybe actually this can activate my Heartfire Hero. So maybe I play that instead of a Whisker Quill Scribe. And then maybe just don't play the Sazakap's Brew, something like that. I definitely am on 16 lands though. So actually I think this is just my deck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good aggro deck, to be honest. I'm not really someone who plays a lot of aggro. So probably I'll cut the Persistent Marshstalker and play... I almost want to play one slightly more expensive card, but let's just play this Scribe here. And yeah, I think this looks good. I mean, very possible that I was supposed to hop over to Dimir control by leaning towards blue at some of those many opportunities. Rats did seem pretty open, but in the end, it turns out that raccoons and squirrels were wide open. So I don't even know what to do about that. One thing I know is that I was definitely right to be playing black. That much is crystal clear, especially pack 1. All right, I mean, this is what my deck is trying to do, right? So I can start with a Hired Claw, turn 1 Hired Claw, turn 2 Whisker Quill Scribe, And then I can Rabid Gnaw. If I don't draw my land, I can Rabid Gnaw pitching the Frilled Spark Shooter to try to draw my next land. Okay, no, it turns out I don't need it. So I guess I'll just go ahead and play this, and then in with the Claw. Deal 1 damage to the opponent, and bonk. It is a little awkward that this is not a lizard, but what can you do? This is a lizard, so that's kind of cool. And I only need to attack in order to get the Spark Shooter off, so that's good. All right, so I can always hold up Saber here, but I don't think that's where I'm at. I'll just deal 4 to the opponent, and then I will play my Byway Barterer, and we're just beating down. You didn't think that I was, you didn't think I had this in me, did you? This much aggression. I'm usually the one playing blue-white with some random thing that doesn't do anything until turn 5. That's usually where I'm at. So really what I want to do is organize things so that I have an empty hand when I have 1 4-cost card left. So I think I do want to play the village. I think let's do... Oh, this is actually a little interesting. Yeah, let's just hold up Saver. Yeah, let's do it that way. So I'm going to give this +1. And I suppose it can be this one, but I actually don't know if I discard anything. Why did the Arena Auto Tapper tap? Well, okay, whatever. I guess I actually will discard Saver to draw a card, because then next turn I can activate my Byway Barterer. I think that actually sounds pretty good. Oh wait, hold on. I can actually put a counter on this guy, right? That's actually a good thing to do. So in, deal a damage, and then I'm going to put a counter on this. So much aggression. I almost feel guilty for the amount of aggression I'm showing here. That's just the kind of a person I am, you know? And then I can play this and give it haste because it's a lizard. Yeah, I may actually be representing lethal. This guy has menace as well. Splash Lasher. I do love that card. I feel so bad for being so brutal to the person who's playing Splash Lasher, the greatest card of Earth. Yeah, so I have to play this because this is a... Oh no, I'm sorry. This costs an extra. This costs an extra to do. So I actually can't... this costs an extra 1, so I actually can't play a card and also activate it. So, okay, I'm just going to go in with the Byway Barterer because it has menace. And then I'll play a Frilled Spark Shooter because it also has menace. And I don't really want to discard my hand. I think Downwind Ambusher is better than 2 cards, especially because next turn I can play the Ambusher, discard, and get 2 cards. So this is really hard for them, right? The only way out that I can see is like, they can pop their food going to 5, but they're still really low. And then if they had 1 white, there is a board wipe for 3 and 2 white. So that would have been a way out for sure. All right, wow, I'm just beating down. Is this going to be my fastest video ever, win or lose? I've already finished a game and it's 23 minutes in. Usually I'm just drawing my 4th divination of the event at that point. I just looked back. The last time that I drafted aggro was my video called A Learning Experience in a Really Messy Pod on March 26th. So it's actually been a week and a half since almost 2 weeks since I drafted aggro. I can keep this because of Sazakap's Brew, right? I can pitch a card and draw 2. I think that's worth it. I have a 1-drop and then I can just do some card selection turn 2. So yeah, actually, like I talk about limited improvement, getting better at limited together. That is like a major area for finding your weak spots, is like, what archetypes do you not draft as much? Compare your frequency of drafting different archetypes to the actual win rates of those archetypes. They should be very similar, right? I'm not going to add the counter here. I'd rather hold up Sazakap's Brew or Saver. They should be very similar. If they're not, that means that you're leaving equity on the table in drafts where you should be drafting a particular archetype. If your goal is winning as much as possible. If your goal is having fun, like yesterday, I forced frogs and that was purely just, I just love doing this. We're only on flashback for so long. I'm okay if I, kind of fall flat on my face in this draft because I forced an archetype that's not actually the best thing for me in the situation. But overall, like, especially if you're playing in competitive events, right? Then you definitely want to be drafting about in proportion to the win rate of each deck. As much as possible. Obviously, the most winning decks are going to get more highly contested, so you won't have as many opportunities, but Okay, so this is a kind of a sweet situation. This is why I'm playing the Byway Barterer. Play this, play that. I'm going to go ahead and Sazakap's Brew. I'm not even inclined to... Okay, this... Look, watch this. I'm not even inclined to gift them. Watch. I will take that action and then draw 2. I am playing a control deck after all. Look, I have as many cards in hand as my opponent. Am I the only person you know who can draft lizards aggro and still end up playing a draw 4 spell and somehow I'm actually playing control? I've played 2 removal spells and a draw 4, and I claim I'm in aggro. Something is not adding up here. Something is not adding up here. Okay, that's a little bit annoying. So basically this means I cannot attack with the Hired Claw. This guy does have Menace though, so I can attack with that one. I cannot attack with Hired Claw unless I want to trade that plus take out the trash for the Scrap Shooter, which I'm not really sure that I do. I can give something +1 and trample. Is that good? So yeah, what I think I do is I'll start with Roughshod Duo, leaving a black untapped. That's correct. Play the Fireglass Mentor. This is not an enters ability. It's a second main phase ability. And it's only until the end of your turn. So I'm actually kind of giving this away. Do I want to discard my hand to draw 2? No, I think I'm happy with these cards. And then I attack for 4 Trample Menace. Bonk. And then I exile 2, and this is until end of turn. So that's fine. I don't get to play that. Just ripping 2 lands off the top was really good, though. I'm glad I didn't discard my hand and draw 2 lands. Yeah. And yeah, I can do that again. Discard 2 and draw 2 if I want to, which I almost certainly do. They can't attack unless they want to not be able to block, right? Okay, very interesting. Oh, no. I'm sorry. It has Vigilance. I'm sorry. I've played with this card so many times. I should have remembered it has Vigilance. Okay. Iridescent Vinelasher, kind of nice. So I think I kind of want to play the Vinelasher and Offspring it because that makes my land so good. And then probably just attack with everything. What happens if I attack with everything? Whatever Tree Guard Duo blocks, I can give +1/+1 to at least be able to trade with the Tree Guard Duo. Yeah, kind of feels like I just attack with everything. Suppose the nightmare scenario maybe is Scrap Shooter blocks Hired Claw and Tree Guard Duo blocks Fireglass Mentor. So maybe I just don't attack with the Fireglass Mentor. I think that makes their blocks more awkward and just gives me more value. So ping them for 1 next. And now I can expend to take out the trash here by taking out the trash. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the trash on the Tree Guard Duo. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains trample. I will give that to the Roughshod Duo. I will take the action, discard 1 to draw 2. It's a good deal, especially when each of my lands is going to deal damage. And then actually, yeah, I probably do just get rid of this because the chances that I find another land are pretty high. Yeah. And then I go ahead and play a land. Oh, actually, no, I might get a land off of... okay, I can't play any of this, unfortunately. But yeah, then we could play a land, ping them for 2. Am I secretly really good at aggro? And I just never explore this part of my personality? I'm definitely leaving equity on the table by playing aggro as infrequently as I do. So definitely I'm aware of that. And it's something that I should work on more than I do. All right, on to the next one. And this is a good hand as well. I just have like 1-drop, 2-drop, 1-drop, really good 2-drop. You know, I do think I play the Vinelasher as a 1-drop. It's kind of, this is one thing that I do love about Bloomburrow, the subtlety of when do I hold something for Offspring versus when do I just run it out there. I think my deck specifically really wants 1-drops, right? So I think, and also really wants to be doing damage early as much as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this, go ahead and play this, go ahead and attack. I'm assuming they don't have it. I'm sure they don't have a, for one colorless, there's something they can do. So I can just play my turn in whatever order I want to. Now this gets benefits for anything that touches black, which includes lizards. Oof, that's a little bit rough. Not finding a land is a little rough, but I am on 16 land, so it's not like I'm, you know, I can't really complain too much about this. Now, the reason they have priority is because they can activate the Okala Village. I don't think that I need to be afraid that they have some flash creature that I'm not thinking of. I don't know what that would be. Bonk Bonk, or that, yeah, Polywallop, Longstock Brawl. Nothing would have a target here. But look, I'm already representing a lot of damage, even with just Fell next turn, which is almost certainly what I'm going to be playing. Oof. Oof. Well, yeah, let's just get rid of that guy. This guy's really bad when you don't draw any lands, eh? But yeah, I mean, I think this is just like keep the creature count down, and this guy's draining for a lot. Unfortunately, I can't add to the count with the mana that I currently have, but we're about due to draw land, aren't we? I have 15 out of 30, so a 1 in 2 chance. Oh no, right after I played my Fell, you play that guy. Brutal. That's pretty brutal. It doesn't make food, though. It only destroys your food. So I think I play... Let's see. Squirrels, bats, lizards, and rats. It's almost like a poem. I think it's Byway Barterer. Yeah, I just want to be mana efficient. Let's just play this card. Attack with the Rock Collar. This is the situation in which Rock Collar is good, right? When it's like so mega aggressive. Now, I'm assuming they're going to be able to play some food, which is like a really bad problem for me. Okay, that does not make food. Actually, aren't they dead now? I can attack with everything. You can block the charger. They're straight up dead, right? So I'll go ahead and play this before combat. And then attack them with the team, drain them for 2, putting them to 1. Even like the charger dying would kill them. Oh, their deck looks sweet, but we just got in under them. 3-0 already. Very nice. All right, and it's hitting half an hour on the video. Again, now is when I'm drawing like my 6th divination in game 1 in most events. All right, on to the next one. This, unfortunately, is not a keepable hand, right? Just Bonecash Overseer and Fell. I would really need to draw a mountain. And if I'd had a mountain, it would have been keepable because I had multiple ways of pitching cards. Sazakap's Brew plus take out the trash. All right, but this is a super good hand. I'll put back the Glide Dive Duo. I'm not sure. Maybe I shouldn't even be playing Glide Dive. No, I think it's good. Like 2 games ago, it would have been a way of killing my opponent if they had stabilized. So yeah, I think it's actually good. And with the Ravine Raider, and then yeah, I just use my stuff while I have it. Very unconvincing. Would love to have had a 2-drop here, but you know, that's how it goes. I love that I managed to find a draw 4 in the aggro deck. That makes me so joyful. All right, in with Ravine Raider. I don't think there's any reason that they would be playing double red here. In double white, there's Parting Gust, but in double red, I don't think there's anything that they're setting up for. They may very well have it take out the trash, in which case, you know, fair beats on the Byway Barterer, but they kind of just look mana screwed. Okay, it's to take out the trash. Well, too bad. I mean, Fireglass Mentor, the other thing I could have done is hold back the Byway Barterer to play the Fireglass Mentor. I actually think Fireglass Mentor might be better in this situation. It also draws me a bunch of cards, and if I draw land, I can double spell with Fell into the Fireglass Mentor. Well, that's not double spelling. But actually, maybe I still can get a land, right? Because I can go Fireglass Mentor. This thing has Menace. Play the Fireglass Mentor. Draw a card. Maybe, or... if an opponent lost life. Oh, what did I just do? Whoopsies. It's not when it enters or at the beginning of your second main phase, which is what I thought it was. Well, that's just, you know, not having played with the cards in 2 years, right? So obviously totally bungled that. I was supposed to play this first, then it would trigger at the beginning of my second main phase. Complete blunder. Just a pure blunder by me, but those happen. Okay. So next up, I really want to Fell this guy. He's like super strong, super strong. I think it's better than the Frilled Spark Shooter, especially when I'm about to play my very own Frilled Spark Shooter. So kill that. Next, in with the Ravine Raider. Maybe I'll get another removal spell. Exile a 2-drop, perhaps? Okay. Exile the Scribe and go ahead and play it. And now, if they attack with their Spark Shooter, I'm not so worried. However, playing against the Raccoons deck is very dangerous for me because Raccoons can do a lot of damage, right? Raccoons is a more mid-range deck, and that just goes over the top of the aggro deck, and I did not successfully establish a beatdown in the early game that puts them on their back foot. So not looking great. Also, they've got their mana under them, and they're about to Polywallop Frilled Spark Shooter into... Okay, fine. Longstock Brawl, Frilled Spark Shooter into the Fireglass Mentor, which gets rid of my card advantage, and probably play a 3 toughness blocker, which makes me unable to attack. That's just my pure guess about what's about to happen. No? Okay. Well, then I don't hate that. So in that case, in with the team. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Play my own Frilled Spark Shooter. We'll see if they have an answer to this. I mean, a 5/5 is a pretty good answer to it, though, right? But yeah, no, I'm in big trouble. The way that I win this is by going wide and just cheekily sneaking through enough damage. I probably should save any future lands that I draw for Iridescent Vinelasher, Sazakap's Brew, take out the trash, right? My various card selection or landfall triggers. Because I've hit enough mana to play Glide Dive Duo, and my main draw engine is in the gutter. But yeah, not looking great for me. I guess another thing that can happen is I could draw something that I can double spell off of the Roughshod Duo with, and then if I attack with the team and they double block my Frilled Spark Shooter, I can kill something and give this +1 to trade off with theirs. That would be a way for me to win. That would be a way for me to win. Okay, Junkblade Bruiser is really bad for me. That's the kind of a card that I needed them to not have. Definitely. Definitely really bad for me. Okay, so I can actually play this, play a Raccoon Rallier, and then give Frilled Spark Shooter +1, and then attack with a Spark Shooter and just trade off with their Spark Shooter. I assume they're going to double walk. No, really? So they're just going for the kill here. Well, they do have exact lethal. But I also have pretty close to lethal. So this has Menace. This one, no, yeah, this one has Trample. And this one has Menace. So I would have to double block something. Probably putting Ravine Raider and the Fish in front of the Spark Shooter if they just attack without giving me any context for what their plan is. Then I'm really representing lethal in multiple ways on the crackback, right? 2, 2, and this would be 6. This and any other creature would be 6. So they would have to deal with 2 independent threats. No, we'll see. Tight Magic. Nice game. Really interesting. Plus, if I draw a creature with greater power, Raccoon Rallier can give it haste. Also, if I draw nothing, I can give the Whisker Quill Scribe haste. Okay, well, that's a blocker. And discard. You know, Raccoon Rallier, target this, discard and draw. All right. So you, oh wait, hold on. If it's powers 2 or less, or if you control another lizard, got it. Okay, so I can take 9. I can take 10, I mean, I just have to block the Frilled Spark Shooter, so I'll just block that with my 2 1/1s. With this attack, they're almost dead, right? Actually, they are dead on the crackback if they make this attack, aren't they? I'm just going to chump block their Frilled Spark Shooter, take 10, go to 1. Oh, they could have +1/+0, and if you control mass, draw a card. That could be the idea. Okay, yeah, you have to keep something back here, my friend. Okay, this looks like they don't have +1/+0 and draw a card, so just take it all. Okay, all right, they didn't kill me. Saver. Wow, did we actually get there? That's so sweet. This is why you shouldn't be passing savers all the way around the table, everybody. Pretty sure we got there, right? All right, wow, very nice. 4-0. I definitely thought I had lost that one. Winning from 1 is like one of those rare aggro thrills. Next game we win, we will be Diamond if we don't drop a game first. And we pretty much got our gems back, 4-0. All right, on to the next one. All right, another really nice hand, I think. I think this is another really nice hand. It has a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and removal. What more can you ask for? And a future. If I just draw a bunch of lands, you know, I still have Glide Dive Duo. Okay, didn't need the second Glide Dive Duo. I did not need the second Glide Dive Duo. Sazakap's Brew would be awesome now to like turn a Glide Dive Duo into a bunch of different cards by targeting Whisker Quill Scribe. Savor is the perfect answer to this dude. Definitely it will get savored rather than giving them the opportunity to turn that into mana. And I actually don't hate drawing another land here. I do feel a little behind now because I would have liked to be playing a threatening 2-drop, and I don't have a 3-drop to keep pace on turn 2, but on turn 3, I mean, but what can you do? This is 4 mana. So in with the Ravine Raider, I don't think I really need to be savoring the Baker's Bane duo. Whoops, no. I want to play the Whisker Quill Scribe, definitely. Basically, the idea of not savoring is like I can hold up Savor, and then when we get into combat, if they want to use the Baker's Bane duo's +1/+1 ability defensively, I can savor it with the trigger on the stack and kill it. And if they want to use it offensively, I couldn't care less because I'm really trying to be the beatdown. Although food definitely makes that harder. Yeah, this is one of those cards that you can't win against. Definitely one of those mythic rares that you can't really win against with normal Magic. I guess if I draw another land and a Savor, I have a hope, but we are absolutely toast. There is no winning this game. I mean, War and War Leader is just like the kind of a card that feels pretty bad when your opponent has it. There's no way that they're going to block. There's just no way that you block this. I cannot imagine blocking this in my whole life. So there's a question about, am I so lost that I just take out the trash and try to draw a land? Like, just shoot the Warren War Leader and try to draw a land? I guess I don't just auto lose. I guess I don't just auto lose if they do this once. It's more like if they do this a few times that I'm absolute toast. So I think I just try to draw a land. But this does give them an opportunity to draw something defensive or something to pump this. Although even if it has 5 toughness, I can still kill it with Savor plus take out the trash. Yeah, I mean, this is just quickly heading to an unrecoverable place for me. Like, now they could overrun a board of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. Just not really a card that you can win against. Unless you have your own counter Mega Bomb. I'm definitely not blocking. Yeah, it's over. It's over. I guess I'll see if this works now. I probably left this one turn too late. So shoot this. Oh, I don't control a raccoon, so I don't even draw a card. Okay, that's fine. Let's just go on to the next one. Somehow I thought that the 2/2 Scribe was a mouse raccoon, but I guess it's a mouse something else. It's not a lizard, so what else is it? It's a mouse citizen. It only has 1 relevant creature type. Okay, not a raccoon. By the way, take out the trash. The flavor on this is awesome. If you control a raccoon, then you get to take out the trash. And flavorfully, the act of taking out the trash is throwing a card away and getting one back. I think that's so funny that it's like, you need a raccoon in order to dig through the trash can. Good design, good design. I'm no aggro expert, as I've said many times, but my understanding is basically the point of an aggro deck is to win all the games where your opponent doesn't draw one of the top mythic bombs in the format, right? You're going to win a lot of games by default when they have that in their deck, but they just don't see it in time. But the games where they do draw a mythic bomb like that, it's kind of priced in that you're losing those. So we're starting off pretty fast. I mean, Downwind Ambusher on aggro with Raccoon Rallier seems pretty sweet. If I can keep their board clear, oh my goodness. Well, you are getting very rapidly gnawed, I'll tell you that much. Do I want the Savor? No, I think I just want another land, to be quite honest with you. So I'm going to shoot this down. This is also one of the top rares in the format, but thankfully we have our removal online this time. The thing about the other one is 4 toughness is so much toughness. Like, I need 2 Savors. Downwind Ambusher plus Savor doesn't do it. Rabid Gnaw needs a 3 power creature to do it. You know, it's like 3 toughness is a lot more manageable to kill in this set. A nice little lesson, actually, to keep in mind when you're thinking about card evaluation. Okay, so I could play the Downwind Ambusher. The thing about that is I can't give this... I can give it -1/-1, but I wouldn't kill it. And I feel like killing it is really good because it is, in fact, a good creature that ramps them. I also could target the Whisker Quill Scribe anytime I want to discard a card and draw. Hopefully you play something amazing with 1 toughness. Oh, that's something amazing, but it does not have 1 toughness. What is with this person and having incredibly good cards in their deck? I don't like that. I do not like that they're doing that, for real. Can you just have some bad cards in your deck for once? All right, well, I think I'll trade any one of my creatures for that Keen-Eyed Curator. They may just not block. But if I'm them, I'm feeling like I kind of have to block, right? This is a good chunk of damage. All right, go to damage. I mean, I wish I could just Downwind Ambusher killing the 3-tree mascot, but alas, alas. I could have given that -1/-1 as well. But okay, I will destroy the Keen-Eyed Curator. A little awkward. Downwind Ambusher versus 3-tree mascot. This is what I was talking about in terms of 4/2s, but that's why this 4/2 is worth playing in contrast to other 4/2s. Like, it killed a absolute bomb. Now, if they have a way of bringing back 2 creatures or something, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Driftgloom Coyote. Now, that is a very good card against my aggro deck, right? Ugh. I don't think I even have a removal spell for this. That's part of why that card is so good. Really? When I have Menace? That's a little confusing to me. Well, I'll go ahead and play the Barterer. I think that's really good. I think they just forgot that Ravine Raider has Menace, probably. Maybe they just don't want to double block, actually. Now that I think about it, that kind of makes sense. They wouldn't want to put their Driftgloom Coyote in combat. which probably is really good for me, to be honest, because if they're hesitant to attack with it, that just means that I'm the one putting the pressure on. And hopefully I'm going to get to draw a whole bunch of cards, but Driftgloom Coyote, really annoying. On the plus side, if it ever does die, then it's kind of awesome because I get the Enter's ability of Downwind Ambusher once again. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't build a very good aggro deck because I shouldn't really be losing to the 4-color deck, right? Maybe it's just 3 colors, actually. Sunspine Lynx, I don't like that card. I don't think it's something you should be playing because it does shoot you for 2 in this really tense situation. So it's a good illustration of why I do not recommend playing that card. Now, again, it does have 4 toughness, so it might be about to just absolutely crush me. And it kills my Byway Barterer. Are you kidding? You have a Longstock Brawl? Yeah, I mean, technically, yes, the aggro deck should be beating the like really clunky 3-color deck. But the thing is, Valley Quest Color, Keen-Eyed Curator, Wondertail Mentor, Longstock Brawl, Driftgloom Coyote, these are all fantastic cards, right? So they're playing a bunch of fantastic cards. So it is really hard to just out aggro that with like average card quality, right? So most games, I would hope that I would be beating them. I'll make this trade, that's fine. But, or at least most 3-color decks, I would hope that I would be beating. But this is like a kind of a special situation where your opponent has like tons of top rares. All right, go ahead and play the Roughshod Duo. It technically gives things trample and +1. It could be really hard to block for the opponent. It might take down a Sunspine Lynx at some point. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm assuming they keep looking at their graveyard, so they have something to do with the graveyard. I'm not sure what that would be in their colors. Maybe they're splashing a 4th color for black to bring something back from the graveyard. I don't know. But really, anything here, I'm already behind, and anything here is probably enough to beat me. The dream of hitting diamond rank is totally eluding us. It was a nice 4-0, but we've clearly hit a wall at the 4 and X bracket where the decks are just like packed with incredibly high quality cards. Curious Forager, I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of that. They moused over their graveyard so many times, so it's obvious that they had something in the graveyard, and then I just didn't think of the uncommon that brings things back. That makes sense. Bringing back Keen-Eyed Curator, complete disaster for me. I'll probably... Oh no, bringing back Valley Quest Color, even more of a disaster for me. I'll probably concede after one more turn. I mean, they get to start attacking now. I can't really imagine pushing enough damage. I guess if I get Iridescent Vinelasher and survive for a while, that's kind of the only way to do this. As an additional cost to cast it, discard a card. Yeah, I mean, I could also play Whisker, Quill Scribe, but then I can't cast this, but I could tap the Rallier. I think let's just do... +2/+0. I wish I could play the Scribe and also target it. I don't know, I guess +2/+0 is kind of good because I could... Maybe I draw... No, because I have to discard Sazakap's Brew to make this make sense. So, okay. I'll just draw 2. Pitching my Whisker Quill Scribe. See what we can get. Maybe a Saver. Okay, I'll play out one more turn. No, they just got their feet under them with Driftgloom Coyote. I would say I lost to 1 card, Driftgloom Coyote. Because every other bomb was totally answerable. Even like this whole loop doesn't matter. Even a Sunspine Lynx wouldn't do it. Let's go into the next game. I'm not going to get there. But yeah, Driftgloom Coyote, fantastic card. A Jailer with 4 toughness. Yeah, that's really hard. Maybe I should have taken the Agate Assault in the draft portion to have some answer. Like, I keep losing to 4 toughness creatures. So, yeah, maybe I was a little bit too low on Agate Assault for this type of deck. I clearly need to get one step faster, right? I just keep not getting under these clunkier decks. Maybe cut the Raccoon Rallier and play a Persistent Marshstalker. I'll be really grumpy if I draw a Heartfire Hero, though. Yeah, no, I think it is the Rallier that I'm supposed to play. It's also really good with Glide Dive Duo for an instant 5 toughness, 5 life point hit. Yeah, I don't know. Just hope for better draws next time, I think. I think I like the hand. Yeah, I think I like the hand. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Oh, I think I like the hand. I'll keep it. I think I like it. On the draw, I'm not feeling too optimistic, but that's probably more a function of the last 2 games where I went from pretty handily winning to suddenly losing quite badly twice in a row. But okay, play a Valley Rot Caller. I have take out the trash up. Not going to be attacking. Definitely not. I can hopefully go Roughshod Duo. Oh, I might just take that out of the trash, honestly. Maybe I start by attacking with Valley Rot Caller. Drain you for 1. I assume they're not going to block. And then, yeah, I'll play the Roughshod Duo because then next turn I can play Sazakap's Brew plus take out the trash. And that will trigger the Roughshod Duo. That might let me kill their Water Spout Warden and attack, depending on what else they play. They might play a, Baker's Bane Duo here or something, in which case I won't get to attack with Valley Rot Caller. I mean, I guess I could give the Rot Caller +2 if I want to. Oh, interesting. So they have counter target spell. All right, well, let's do Sazak. Let's play the land just to give them a hard time about countering this. And actually, let's start with take out the trash on Water Spout Warden. It could be Shore Up as well, actually. Polywallop. In response, I will Sazakap's Brew myself. Discard this, draw 2, expend 4, put that on the Rot Caller. Because I'm not attacking with Bonecash Overseer. I don't even want to trade it for 2 Pond Profits, to be quite honest. All right, and then attack with the Rot Caller. So the main point of Bonecash Overseer is if I can get Savor, then I can pop a food. Another Pawn Profit. Okay, this person knows how to game. This is a gamer after my own heart. I may be able to just attack with the Rot Caller. Oh, they don't want to triple block. Interesting. That's funny. I wonder what this attack is about. That's kind of interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and... So this would give me an extra drain to play this before combat, but I'm anticipating... Okay, run away together. Sure. Then I'll play, then I don't attack and I will play Glide Dive Duo. I do think this card's really annoying. It's like weirdly hard to answer, Glide Dive Duo. Like, suppose I play one of the many 4/4s with Reach right now, I can always Rabid Gnaw them and then I'm getting in for 3 in the air. Kind of unfortunate that we only that we have 0 losses left to give, like we lose on our next loss. Opponent's deck is sweet though. Love their sleeves. Love the frogginess of it all. All right, that's a 3/3 reach. Bouncing a Pawn Profit. No, they're living the dream. That's totally awesome. I love what they're doing. All right, shoot this into that. But now I have nothing left. If they just draw a bomb, I'm definitely in trouble. In with this guy, play the Rot Caller. I guess I might as well play a land. There's not really any reason to. I'm drawing more lands than I would want to. 8 lands so far. Youch. And then there's your 4/4 reach. No, I'm in big trouble now. I'm now in very big trouble, and you have a long stock brawl. All right, GG. Well, I never claimed to be an aggro specialist, but it's always very painful to go 4-0 into 0-3, right? That's like not a lot of fun when that happens, but such is life. Well, I'm just going to try to save up for a big Rot Caller. Basically, my goal now is how I win. The way that I win would be both Steam Path Chargers are going to die, putting them down. Let's suppose they don't draw food. If they draw food, I don't think any of this works. But I want the Rot Caller to manage to deliver as much damage as possible so that if I can get a little bit of damage in around the edges, the Steam Path Chargers are lethal. I need to attack with the Rot Caller before losing the Steam Path Chargers. Yes, you can be flickering Pawn Profit. That's all very lovely for you. Making your Pawn Profit bigger. But basically, I just need to find ways of attacking their life total as much as possible. If I draw another Glide Dive Duo, that would be ideal. Savor is quite nice, isn't it? Savor is quite nice. So what if I straight up attack with the Rot Caller? Are they going to triple block? I think it's worth just checking them. If they attack with the Rot Caller, they could, for example, double block. Yeah, I think let's start with a Savor. Well, I could Savor on Pawn Profit and then draw during their turn, denying them the ability to flicker whatever Pawn Profit they target. I think I probably want the extra turn, though, of activity more than I care about them drawing another card. So let's get rid of this Pawn Profit. I don't really want to do any attacking shenanigans. Sacrifice this. draw a card. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so bad. I mean, what can I even do about that? Yeah, okay. Drawing more lands than spells in the aggro deck is definitely a death sentence against the value-centered Frogs deck. That is a full-on death sentence. Okay, no, Mind Whisker, the dream is over, right? I can't even deal combat damage anymore. Yeah. I guess if I draw another Saver, if I can top deck a Saver and then I draw another card, I do have 2 more Savers in my deck. That's kind of how I win. I'm not going to block with the Charger because I want to keep it alive for my Rock Collar attacks. I don't really care about my life total here. Heartfire Hero, what a ridiculously bad draw. Okay, it does absolutely nothing for me. Oh wait, no, it does deal 1 damage to the opponent. That's kind of nice when it dies. That's kind of nice. We'll see how much food they're running. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have them at 3 now. They do get to surveil and just put food on top of their deck though. They don't want Azure Beastbinder. Why not? That can blank all of my stuff. Hunter's Talent. Okay, awesome. No, their deck is good. They just have enough interaction going on, and I got flooded. That's going to be it, right? I lost out on my 3 damage. I guess a more experienced aggro player than I would have attacked with that earlier. That's probably my guess. Like, I should have attacked with that earlier. Oh, it deals 0 damage to the opponent. That's so funny because of Mind Whisker. If I'd attacked with that earlier, then I would have had the damage at least and not given them the opportunity to remove it. I probably should have just said, if you can sacrifice a creature to deal 3 to their life total. Okay, I mean, that actually does something, right? That's got to be my best draw. So let's do that right now. Yeah, obviously really wish I'd attacked with that creature. Get them down to 6. That would have been a lot better. Pay 1, take something out. Okay, well, that's something, right? Dang, I really wish I'd put them down to 6 now. I really wish I'd put them down to 6 now. Okay, it was a mistake not to attack with it and give them the chance to remove it. I can see that very clearly now. Yep, obviously really wish I'd attacked. They still have so many chances to draw food though, but they haven't really shown that they have any food in their deck yet. This is the thing that I don't really like about playing aggro. You just feel so powerless. It's so obvious to me and has been obvious for a long time that my opponent's going to win. And you don't really have any choices. Whereas the opponent has so many decisions every turn. They just have so many opportunities to win this game. Sure, you can make your big army, whatever. All right. Block, block. So I would have them at 4 now. Yeah, I should have really attacked. I should have really attacked with my Valley Rock Collar. I wanted to save it for if I could get more if I could get more lizards, but I didn't really think about the downside risk that I just don't even get an attack in because they draw removal, and they're drawing so many cards each turn. I should obviously have realized that's just so much more likely. So now they would be at 2 if I had drained them for 3. Yeah, I would have had a good shot here. Too bad. Lesson learned. Lesson learned before the Arena Direct. Am I right, folks? Well, our deck did pretty well. I mean, obviously when you go 4-0, you really don't want to then just go 0-3. That's like very disappointing, but you can't win them all, right? You cannot win them all. Taking 11 here. Okay, awesome. You also have a high stride. Well, if I draw Glide Dive Duo, I might actually win, right? If I can top deck my other Glide Dive Duo, I think I actually win. So I do have an out. But of course, I'm just going to draw another land because that's the story of this game. Yeah. Okay, I do feel that we got a little unlucky. Not by not drawing Glide Dive Duo there, but I mean, I was 1 win away from Diamond and then just went 0-3 to like drawing too few lands was actually not a problem for my deck. We saw on the game where I got completely stuck on 2 lands. I actually like very convincingly won. It's very possible I was a little bit too heavy on 2 drops, but I would say the main issue was In the draft portion, I could have improved by not vacillating at all between red and blue. Maybe I should have been blue all along. And then in the games that we lost, a mixture of some flood and just the opponent's card quality. We played against one person who had that 4/4 mythic that we just couldn't beat. So maybe taking the agate, whatever, the thing that deals 4. I didn't think about like, oh, some of the mythic rares in this format, or even like that 4/4 reach that beat us in the last game. Oh yeah, those are 4 toughness. So when you have like Rabid Gnaw with a bunch of 2/2s, Saver, and 3 Savers, you know, then maybe you really should also be taking a deal 4 spell. That kind of makes sense. Oh yeah, and also take out the trash. So that kind of makes sense to me. I guess that's one lesson to learn. Like, rather than Saver number 3, maybe you're actually supposed to take the Agate Assault. As I say that, I don't really believe it, but maybe. And then the other thing is, I maybe I needed to be even a little bit more aggressive, because the second loss and the third loss, well, the second loss was just the person got an unreal card quality. Like, I would remove a mega bomb top card in the format and they would just play another. I would remove that and they would just play another again. There's only so many Savers you can have in your deck, right? So that person just had like a draft pod that was passing. It seemed like they had like 8 to 10 rares in their deck, probably. Not that rarity is everything, but their card quality was just off the charts. So the way you beat that is by being aggressive enough to punish any missteps in mana that they have for being 3 colors. And the way that things lined up in our best of 1 game, they just drew a ton of top rares and had no problems with mana. So maybe I could have been one step more aggressive to deal with that. And then in the third game, I just got completely flooded. So I do feel good about playing the Hidden Grotto, Sazakap's Brew, Take Out the Trash, these various ways of doing card selection. Byway Barterer was awesome. Fireglass Mentor as well. But maybe I needed even more. Maybe another Hidden Grotto. Maybe like one more way of just preventing flood would have been good. Or ways of targeting the Whisker Quill Scribe. So just a few lessons for me as I try to figure out how to draft aggro better. But hey, you know what? 4-3, can't be too unhappy when that happens. Always a little bit of disappointing whiplash when you go 4-0 into 0-3. But you know what? I basically made back my gems playing a style of Magic that I'm not very used to. So have to be happy enough with that. And very curious to hear any feedback or thoughts in the comments especially from people who are more experienced with aggro than I am. So tomorrow is going to be my very last draft of Bloomburrow on Flashback. Tonight, I am going to be doing a live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern. Please make sure to tune in for that. And then on the weekend, I'll be playing a bunch of Bloomburrow in the Arena Direct. So until then, have tons of fun playing Magic, everyone, and don't be afraid to splash.